welcome back to the Black Tornado Podcast. This is your home for underground metal. Today I've got Darren with me from Midnight Whiskey Massacre. What's going on, brother?
Hey, dude. How you doing?
Hey, man. Doing well. So we've got some really killer, we got stoner rock, proto metal from the UK. Very cool stuff. You guys are really going to dig this. We're going to jump right into it. So the name of the album is Overwatch and Control, which was released July 19th of last year, 2024. I want to give a quick shout out to Harry Awanko, who did the artwork for the album. I think this artwork is just excellent. By the time you'll have heard this interview, I'll have already posted the artwork. It's just really cool. It really gives a stoner rock, obviously, kind of a sleep vibe to the cover. Is that kind of what you were going for when you talked to him about doing the cover?
Yeah, gave him a few ideas, and that's what he came up with. Along that sort of vibe.
Yeah, I really think that I think it perfectly fits the music. You know, sometimes the album cover and the music are a little far apart, but I think that that Harry did a great job with the album cover. It's really cool. Let's see. All right, before we start getting into talking real quick, let's jump into some Midnight Whiskey Massacre. This song is called Rocking Chair. Love the lead, love the rhythm. Really excellent guitar work. That song, the guitar really stands out for me.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about putting this one together.
Yeah, it's actually came from some riffs from like a long time ago, like 15 years ago, man, when I first started on that. And then I started putting it into a song form. Putting a verse and a chorus together and coming up with some lyrics.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that this one. I'm glad that you sent this one in because I've listened to a handful of music off of the new album, and this one, the guitars really stand out amongst the rest of the record on this song. I'm glad that we're going with this one. So when did the project start?
A couple of years ago now. Yeah.
What made you want to go from just playing guitar in your room to, hey, I actually want to put a record together. I want to put this project together.
I think I just hit a point in my life where it's like, I wasn't getting young. It's like, I want to do this now, and put this into like song form and make some cool songs. Try to. I don't know. It's like something was inside me, just wanted to do it.
No, it makes absolute sense. So how long did it take to write and record everything? The whole process from start to now the album is out.
Oh, okay. So with the new EP, Satan's Grin, I probably started coming up with the idea of that about sort of like 8 months ago. Recording done in about 3 or 4 sessions, just before the New Year and Christmas.
Did you do all the recording yourself, or did you go to a studio?
Yeah, no, I went to a studio. Yeah, it's been in the studio, mixed in the studio.
All right. Is it a studio anybody can use? Anybody you want to plug, or is it like a private friend?
Yeah, no. It's in Hertfordshire in England, the practice rooms in Stevenage.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool. Stevenage rooms.
Yeah, any of that kind of stuff, who does the artwork or studios that people use. I always like to give a plug for them because, obviously people in the States, it doesn't do much good, but people in the UK do listen and might be something for somebody to check out.
Yeah, sure. There's a few local bands that sort of go in there you might have heard of before. Yeah, like Nomadic Rain, Praetorian, guys, Guavadon. There's a few sort of bands around there in that scene.
Nice. Oh, very cool. Yeah, like I said, that kind of stuff. You never know who's listening and from where. And so if there's local stuff to them, there might be an artist nearby to you that's listening that goes, oh, that's where I'm going to go and that's where I'll record too.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's really well put together. You can tell whoever did the editing and the engineering of the project really took their time because it sounds phenomenal when you put it on.
Oh, thanks very much, dude. That's the mix engineer is called Andy Plowman at the studio.
Okay.
Yeah, really cool dude.
All right, awesome. Here's a question I had. I'm sure everybody is wondering this. How did you come up with the name Midnight Whiskey Massacre? That's a great name, by the way.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah,
kind of some years ago, it's kind of like an idea. I mean, a lot of bands with black in the title have been taken.
Yes.
Kind of led to the midnight bit. The Whiskey Massacre, I suppose. Yeah, sort of like staying up late and sort of the late night sort of rock world a bit.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I imagined, but you never know. And you're right, a lot of names are taken, especially when you get into like the stoner metal genre where everybody has the name Wizard or Dragon or something in the title, the word bong. It's just it's really hard if you're doing like a stoner metal, stoner rock kind of band. A lot of the key words have been used 15 times over. Makes it difficult.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool. Do you have any thoughts about doing live shows?
Yeah, definitely. We're after a regular drum at the moment. To get that drum, and that's what we're gonna do.
Oh, so you have everybody else already figured out.
Yeah.
Very cool. So obviously, other than vocals, would you be playing lead or rhythm?
Oh, lead guitar, yeah.
Lead guitar, okay.
Got enough bassist and a rhythm guitar.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's see here. All right, so here's a question that I ask everybody because as a big pedal nerd. I've got probably more invested in pedals than I have anything else. So what is your favorite piece of gear?
Okay.
Doesn't have to just be pedals, just I happen to like them, but it could be anything that you use for Midnight Whiskey Massacre.
Well, I'll show you. My pedal might disappoint you a little bit. I've got a Zoom G3XN.
Oh, yeah. I know the Zoom. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
But this is my special weapon.
Oh, got a nice one. See, now it's just audio, so I got to tell everybody. We're looking at, what do we got? Is it 2x10?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, with the V30s in and the creambacks.
Nice. Nice.
Super Crush 100 head.
Yeah, Orange makes a phenomenal product. I will take a quick shout out, not a shout out, but I will just say this. This really only applies to people that live close to me. My Orange bass amp was stolen about, 10 years ago, and there's a black X on the bottom in like paint or marker, whatever I used. So anybody in my local area that finds that bass amp, there's a black X on the right-hand side towards the bottom. That's how you know it's mine. This is why I don't loan out gear anymore, because it disappears. And even though I have other bass amps, I still want that one back, because the orange tone is something that you cannot get with any other amp company. You just can't.
Yeah.
You can get close, but you're not gonna replicate an orange amp. But for your style of music, orange amps really seem to they work. That's what a lot of other bands are using orange products. It absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, they're really great. Sound brilliant. Not cheap, but yeah, they do seem to be worth the money for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you get to a certain point, you kind of steer away from, I don't want to say cheaper as if it's a bad thing, but we'll say less expensive gear, and you move towards a little pricier stuff, but it always ends up being worth it, just in build quality, in tone, less maintenance. You know, if you pick up a Squier 4-string bass, which I have nothing against Squier basses, I think they're fine, but they do require maintenance and they do require some work, as where if you get, something a little higher end, basically double or triple, quadruple the price of a Squier, you're just always going to be happy with the tone. You're probably not going to change anything. Can't see it behind me because there's a screen, but I've got a Jackson Spectra behind me. You don't need to do anything to that bass. You just plug it in. The pickups are great. Everything works on it. Barely goes out of tune. I mean, I can play the thing for an hour or two, and it just barely goes out of tune. But I guess that's the price difference between a new Spectra versus, a new Squier. Yeah,
exactly. No, you do get what you pay for. You took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, just get to a certain point, you just, it's nice to have the best, isn't it? To be reliable and do the job as soon as you plug it in, like you say.
Well, and just real quick, I have a family member who I play with pretty regularly. He always buys pretty high-end gear. One, because it sounds good, and two, because it doesn't require as much maintenance. He made a really good point when I asked him about this kind of pricey, I think it was a Sire guitar or a Music Man that he had picked up, and it had a pretty hefty price tag, but he told me the value is always there. It's always going to be worth something.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
You can pick up a Squier guitar or a really low-end Jackson, and it might sound great, and it might do what you want it to do, but if you go to sell it on the secondhand market, it's worth nothing, because they weren't expensive to get brand new in the first place.
Yeah, there is definitely something in that with a lot of high-value items, I think, where they're known for the quality and the make. Like those orange amps, you see them like years later, and they're like £100 less than retail.
Right, like, and people are still buying them. They're still going, you know. And the more vintage stuff, especially with the more well-known products like orange amps, you know, if you go buy a vintage one, it probably costs more than it did when it, you know, came out. And that's just because the build quality, it's still gonna fire up. It's still gonna play great. If you've got a, you know, I keep harping on Squire, and by no means do I think Squire's a bad company.
I'll start with Squire and stuff. Yeah,
they're good to lug around if you're not worried about nicks or scratches or them getting banged up. It's not a problem. I've got cheaper ones that I will bring out to people's houses because I don't want the fancier stuff getting scratched up, and those are just kind of studio. They just stay at home sort of thing. Let's see. All right, let's jump into the second track. This is Overwatch and Control.
Whoa.
rhythm guitar, a little thrashy. I hear kind of a Lemmy style vocals that instantly made me think, what is this guy's favorite Motorhead record? Because you definitely hear that influence in the song.
Yeah. Oh man, favorite one. Wow. Oh man, that's hard to pick one out.
It's a hard question, seeing as how there's like 30 albums, and I will say this because it seems like on every other episode somehow Motorhead gets brought up. Nobody talks about Sacrifice enough. That was like 96 or 97 when that record came out. That, in my opinion, is one of the heaviest Motorhead records, and it just didn't get as much recognition as some of the other records. So when you finish up with this podcast, if you're having trouble remembering that record, go listen to it on YouTube. Punch in Motorhead's Sacrifice. It is a heavy fucking Motorhead record, man. It's good stuff. No, my point being is that obviously you hear this kind of influence in the song, and me being a huge Motorhead fan, it was right up my alley. When I think that's the first one that I heard when you sent tracks over. I think you sent Overwatch and Control first.
Yeah, probably.
And I instantly fell in love with it. I said, this is great. This is killer shit.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm glad that we got to play this one again. You know, even if somebody sends me an album or a handful of songs, I usually leave it up to the artist, the band, the performer, and go, what do you think fits best for an audience that's never heard your music before? And I think that you picked two great songs that they encompass the sound of Midnight Whiskey Massacre really well. It really nails it. So yeah, great song. Like I said, I love the thrashiness of the rhythm. I love the vocals. It's kind of grittier vocals than the other song, than like Rocking Chair, but you know, still in the same vein, still similar.
Yeah, really find this drummer and get playing live. Record some new songs. In the process of those coming up.
I saw on your page that you've got, and I see you're wearing one of the shirts. Where can people go if they want to grab a T-shirt?
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp. All right. Midnight Whiskey Massacre Bandcamp. I'm going to look and see. I'm sure the shipping is going to kill me, but I will look and see how much a T-shirt shipped to me is going to cost. It's probably going to cost more than the damn shirt, as I've had those issues in the past.
Yeah, no, I went today. No, it's going to be cheaper than the shirt. Yeah, I think it's going to be okay. I'm going to trial the first one next week to America. So see a rough sort of price.
Let me know what it ends. Yeah, let me know what it ends up costing, because all the shirts in my closet have slowly started to turn into pretty much just bands that I support and play on the show. And I've told bands before, that like a band will send me a CD or a button or something, and the button goes on my vest. The shirts I wear out constantly. I'm always trying to support the bands and artists that are played on the podcast, even when I'm not on the podcast, even if I'm just out at the bar, grabbing a beer or something. You'd be surprised how many times people ask about, the different shirts and stuff, because they don't recognize the band.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, what's that shirt you're wearing there? That's cool.
This is a band from the U.S. called Hail Shot. You'd probably enjoy them. I'll once we hang up, I'll send you a link, and it wouldn't surprise me if you dug their music. Hail Shot, they were on. I think they might have been the first band I ever interviewed back in 2016, and I've played them on and off on the podcast before. They're same state, local guys to me. Have known them for years. So again, I kind of have more of a personal relationship with them. But even the bands that I don't, even the guys that I've never met, I've never sat in a room with them. Even those guys, wear their stuff all the time and try to support them as much as possible.
Yeah, cool. What state are you from, by the way?
Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much middle of nowhere. But I can be in Chicago in about an hour. So if I want to go to, like where there's big shows, And then I've got Indianapolis, also big shows, but like where I'm at is just the middle of fucking nowhere.
That's
Nothing.
a bit like me, yeah.
We get the local shows and stuff out here. Smaller bands will put on shows and stuff in surrounding towns, and I try to go catch those. But yeah, if you want to see, the bigger bands, you're definitely gonna have to do a little bit of traveling.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, same here. You got to go to London.
Yeah, right. But that's the price you pay if you wanna check out some bigger bands.
That's it, dude. Yeah.
That's what you do. But all right, man, this was cool. Again, I want to thank Darren for coming on the show. We'll do our best to promote Midnight Whiskey Massacre. Again, if you want to get a shirt or if you want to get a copy of the album, you can head over to Bandcamp at Midnight Whiskey Massacre. What do you have social-wise? I know you have Instagram. Do you have any other social pages like Facebook or stuff like that?
Yeah, Facebook. Yeah, that's it. Facebook, Instagram. Use platforms, Bandcamp, Spotify.
Oh yeah, right, and of course on Spotify as well. I like Spotify. I don't plug it that much just because I have a funny relationship with Spotify. I think I think the idea of Spotify is great.
Yeah.
And I understand that the only way to pay the bands more would be to raise the price of your Spotify membership, which would then turn people away. It's still just a shame when I hear people tell me that, Spotify made them a whole 3 cents. And I just go like, was it even worth it at that point? Even big artists, even artists that get 1 million clicks a day, it ends up being a couple of dollars. And it's just, I guess it's better than nothing. But I always tell people your best route, if you want to support the band, buy physical merch. If you can, if it's a far away band where shipping would kill you, buy the digital album if you can, and then you have it in your collection forever. But obviously the whole point is to try and support the bands in any way that you can. And even if monetary doesn't work for you, get on the socials. Like, click, share posts. This is what brings people over to these bands and what gets them noticed. I talk about all the time how weird the algorithm is and how I still don't fully understand it, but I know that it works.
Yep.
That's just how it works. So again, thanks for coming on the show, man. This was really cool. Appreciate you taking time and coming on the podcast.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Yeah, nice to have you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right. And as always, I'm your host, Adam. This will continue to be your home for underground metal. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.